All right. Hey, everybody. So today what I thought I'd do is go through a little bit of a video presentation on the Mexican Consulate in Leamington and their process and what you would need in order to get your temporary residency application done. So first thing I wanted to do was just go into a search engine and I searched for Mexican Consulates, Leamington, Ontario, and that brought up the Leamington, Canada embassy here. And from there, you would get to this first page of the website. This is their main page. And from there, what you want to do is you want to go down to visas for foreigners. So there's lots of things here, but that's the one that you're looking for, visas for foreigners. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to step you through the different information that they need in order for you to show up and actually get your appointment and get your temporary residency. So the next page you get to is visas, powers of attorneys, and consular fees. What we want to do is click on the visas link. And in here, you'll see all kinds of information. And what we're talking about today is the temporary resident visa. There's also permanent resident, all kinds of other different visas, but let's click on the temporary residence visa right here. And this takes us to an information page. And there's a lot of information on this page that you really need to read and digest because this is really important. The first one is that appointments for visas are booked per applicant. So if you're going in as a couple, you need to make 2 appointments. And they have a free system called Mi Consulado. That is through this WhatsApp number or online. I had success using the WhatsApp number. So you would create a WhatsApp contact called the Mexican Consulate in Leamington and add them as a contact with this number. And then you send them a message basically saying hi, and it starts talking to you and you go through the process. I'll do a separate video on that whole process, but these are the 2 ways that you get an appointment. So calling the embassy is not going to be helpful. Use the WhatsApp or go online. It says if booked under any other service, example passport, it will be automatically canceled. This is important information that you need to read. General requirements for all foreign visitors who intend to enter and remain in Mexico. The visa application form printed on one page, double-sided, properly completed and signed, passport or valid travel identity document, original and photocopy of the page containing the photograph and personal data, migratory document proving your legal migratory status in Canada and photocopy only for applicants who are not Canadian. 1 photograph without alterations measuring 3.9 by 3.1, face uncovered, no eyeglasses, frontal view in color with white background, and the payment of the fees. So going back to that, let's look at this form here. So the first form looks like this. And this is a document that you print off and you fill out and take with you. So you need to fill out all this information, personal information, complimentary information, and information and purpose of the trip. This can be a little bit confusing because we filled it out and got questioned on it, but we had said that we were going to stay less than 180 days. And when we got to the consulate, they said, well, if you're staying less than 180 days, you don't need a visa. And we explained that we were going there to actually look for property that we would be purchasing. So it's up to you. You can do the less than 180 or more than 180. It might be easier just to check off the more than 180 days and not have to deal with the questions that I've got. So this is the document that you actually have to fill out and take with you. It's 2 pages. Don't sign anything until you actually get to the consulate. So the place, the date, and the signatures, don't do any of that until you're right in front of them. So that's important to know too. Then your passport, you get the original and photocopy of your passport. If you're a Canadian citizen, you don't have to worry about number 3. And then the photograph, we went to Shoppers Drug Mart and just asked for Mexican passport photograph, and that's what they gave us. So I wasn't too concerned. We got that right from Shoppers Drug Mart. It was easy to do, just a passport photo. And then payment of fees. You'll see that in order to get your visa, there's a fee of $77 Canadian. That's how much it costs to do the actual meeting, and you pay that up front. So even if you're don't get your visa, you still pay the $77. So be aware of that you're going to have to pay no matter what. After you've run through these things and you've understood what you need to do, you want to scroll down and look at where it is that you need to get your economic solvency information. So economic solvency basically says that you would be able to afford Mexico when you're there. So two different types of economic solvency. First one is original and photocopy of investments or bank statements with the institution's stamp and or signature, showing an average monthly balance of $102,891 Canadian dollars during the past 12 months. So that's one way to do it. That's the investment way. The next way is through an original and a photocopy of documents showing the applicant has employment or a pension with a monthly tax-free income of over $6,173 Canadian dollars during the past 6 months. So be aware that this $6,173 is not just income, but it's net income. So if you make $6,000 a year, but then you have expenses leaving your bank account, that won't apply. You need to have a net income of 6,173. And we learned that the hard way because we went for the application. They said, no, you have the income, but at the end of the month, you've paid your bills and this does not equal $6,173. So be aware that's got to be a net income. And this one here, the 102, you have to show 12 months of that in your bank statements or investment statements. We were able to take investment statements and we got a letter from the investment company. So please be aware you must highlight the economic solvency on every monthly statement. So that truly means you get a highlighter and you highlight your income or your balance to show the person at the consulate. That makes it easier for them. Then this is important for joint accounts. The amount required is per applicant, meaning that the balance of the statements will be divided by 2. So if you have a joint account and it's got a balance of 102,891, that may not be enough for one applicant, or it might be enough for one applicant, but not for 2 applicants. So be careful of that. And then here, submit a letter from your financial institution per applicant printed on official paper stating full name. So the person's name has the bank account, and that's the number of the account or the investment account since whenever date it was started, and it is currently valid, with an original signature and stamp of the financial institution. Please note that photocopied or electronic signatures are not accepted. We couldn't get an original signature, and we got an electronic signature and they accepted it. So I guess it's hit or miss on whether they accept it or not. The letter and bank statements must be from the same financial institution. So if it's an RBC bank, then the letter's got to be from RBC Bank. And original bank statements will be kept in our offices and treated as confidential information. So they will keep the documents with them and you don't get them back. So be aware that they're there and you leave them with them. These are all other different ways to prove and get a visa. One of them was family unity. We'll do another video on that one. So just be aware that these are the economic solvency numbers for Leamington, 102,891 or 6,173 Canadian dollars. Depending on which consulate you go to, it might be different, but that's what you need in order to move forward with your visa application at the Leamington Consulate. I hope that helps.